Hurricane Helene has been downgraded to a tropical storm after making landfall last night on Florida's Gulf Coast. And former President Donald Trump will be campaigning today in Michigan. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Weather forecasters have downgraded Hurricane Helene to a tropical storm. But when it made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast yesterday, it was a Category 4 hurricane. NPR's Frank Morris says the storm's deadly consequences are moving north.
We do know at least 3 people are dead. 1 person was killed by a falling sign in Florida. 2 people in Georgia reportedly died in a possible tornado ahead of the hurricane. They're not clear on the injuries. There is some good news. The eye of the storm hit right between a state park and Flint Rock wildlife management areas, so east of Tallahassee and west of Perry, Florida. So it missed the beach communities that line much of the coast.
NPR's Frank Morris reporting. Heavy rain is falling in Georgia. The Atlanta area, including Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, is now in a flash flood emergency. Former President Donald Trump will be campaigning in Michigan today, one of the key swing states in the November election. From member station WDET, Quinn Kleinfelter reports Trump's visit to the state comes as voting by absentee ballot is getting underway.
Trump cast doubt on the votes counted by Detroit officials in 2020 as part of his disproven narrative of widespread fraud. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson says voters can now track online when absentee ballots are accepted.
A lot of what we saw in 2020 is when there's a vacuum of trusted information out there that then allows that blank slate to be filled with misinformation.
Trump plans a town hall to again argue he'll save auto jobs, in part by levying huge tariffs on some foreign imports. Vice President Harris responded in a statement that Trump's vows are, quote, a risk auto workers cannot afford. For NPR News, I'm Quinn Kleinfelter in Detroit.
Former President Trump says he will also be meeting today with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at Trump Tower in New York. Vice President Harris will be traveling to the U.S. southern border today. She will visit Douglas, Arizona. The Israeli government says it shares the aims of a U.S.-led proposal calling for a 3-week ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. NPR's Daniel Estrin in Tel Aviv reports that's despite earlier statements rejecting the proposal.
A chorus of Israeli officials initially rejected the proposal from the U.S. and other allies, saying Israel's campaign in Lebanon would continue with the goal of returning evacuated Israelis to their homes that have been under Hezbollah rocket attack. There were mixed messages from Netanyahu's office about the ceasefire initiative. Netanyahu said he had not responded to the proposal. U.S. officials replied that Israel had been involved in ceasefire talks. Then Netanyahu's office said Israel would continue to discuss the initiative with the U.S. Meanwhile, air raid sirens have gone off across Israel. The military said there was rocket fire from Lebanon toward the northern city of Haifa and a missile fired from Yemen towards central Israel. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
You're listening to NPR News.